In addition to competition, the child is also exposed to judgment, stereotypes, and prejudices. Not only do they learn differences and conclusions, but, like a sponge, they also absorb habits and ways of doing in their surroundings. Indeed, while growing up, few people repel preconceptions as fear builds up. In addition to the fears of losing what we have, not getting what we want, and rejection, the child also learns the fear of the unknown and, perhaps most significantly, the fear of inescapable death. Our world is full of judgments shaped by what we see and hear. However, what we see can be not only incomplete but also a distorted reality. We judge each other, thinking we know enough to draw an opinion. An automatic thinking process builds up, and we don't often consider that we might be wrong about what we think. From what we see, hear, and learn, if this is like this, then that is systematically like that. If someone does or does not do this, that person is like that, or the reason behind it is that. Judgment is everywhere and has no limit, from homes to workplaces, including traffic, altering people's patience and kindness. We often forget that people, actions, and choices are like icebergs. What we see or know can be shaped by profound, unseen, or unknown causes or reasons. That unseen or unknown portion is much more significant than the surfacing part we see, and we might have a different opinion if we knew or saw some of that unseen portion. Most of the time, judgment draws us to a negative opinion instead of thinking, there may be a good reason which I don't know about yet. We don't often ponder that way while waiting to know more or get a confirmation before we can conclude. Judgments, prejudices, and their generalization can lead to quick conclusions that are often erroneous. We consider the top floating portion of the iceberg without thinking about the part underneath. We see the current body, shape, color, action, and inaction. We don't see the soul, the unknown, and everything from yesterday that shaped what we see today. Each person is a unique creature progressively shaped by a unique pathway of experiences. Life is impressive in its diversity and the uniqueness of everything that exists. No matter how alike two natural items might look, there are always some differentiating details between them. So, each person comes as a unique creature, then, they follow a unique, personalized path. They meet some people at various crossroads on the pathway and walk some portions of it together, but overall, that path from birth to death is unique to them. As the child walks through their personalized pathway, experiences shape them. Each person, at a given time of their existence, is the result of the path they have crossed since birth. Experiences take root in the mind as time passes and shape their perceptions, reactions, and actions. These then define their near future, which quickly becomes part of their history, shaping the individual once again, and so on. At each moment, the unique history, accumulating and extending, merges with innate and unique traits, gradually shaping the individual. When giving advice, we often say, "If I were you," or "in your place." But we cannot be that unique person or walk their unique path. With our traits, if we were in that person's situation, there's no guarantee we would do better. At every moment, each person is the result of a unique combination whose ingredients are just as unique. A combination that undergoes a silent and continuous change, as unnoticeable as a child's growth is for those who live with them. The child begins being judged, and they also start judging. They learn and gain experience. They also begin to be disappointed and experience some hardships. These situations mainly shape people in two different ways. Some become more compassionate, not wanting to see others get through the same situations. After fighting hard to escape their difficulties, some other people harden their hearts, considering that those in similar situations should also fight by themselves to get out of their struggles. People will even describe themselves as self-made. However, self-made is another illusion. Even someone who, for example, makes up themselves by selling some merchandise without any support is at least made by the people who purchased what they sold. Therefore, I consider the notion of self-made selfish and ungrateful. In addition to the disappointment and adversity, the child experiences fear and learns causation. They need to play it safe. People are exposed to slow but consistent changes that shape the invisible part of the iceberg before eventually reflecting in its visible part. When looking at someone at a given time, we know very little about what is buried inside them and what each of their subsequent versions will be. When we see someone familiar, because of those gradual changes and adjustments happening inside of them, that person is no longer the same as the last time we saw them. But we live with the snapshot of this time until we notice the change within or on them. A moment when we may say, "You have changed." There lies a secret of the beauty of the love that never fades off.